It is a safe assumption to have that every working adult wants to be financially successful. That is, have enough savings, enough investments, and enough cash on hand to afford the lifestyle that they want for themselves and their family. This really is an important goal to have because it also means growing a nest egg that will allow you to retire comfortably without having to worry about being a financial burden to anybody later in life. The trouble is, unfortunately, too many people fall far short from financial success. Even without the occasional financial emergencies, escalating debt due to overspending is a constant burden that keeps them from reaching their financial goals. When a major crisis, such as long stays at the hospital, temporary job losses, and even a pandemic like we've seen, completely disrupts all plans, additional holes in safety nets are revealed. The truth is, trouble happens to everyone, but how you prepare for it is what will matter in the end. Financial planner and managing director at SCI Wealth, James Fern, has 8 rules that he believes will help put you on the right path to financial success. James, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. We are here with you today to talk about financial success, but more so the 8 rules for financial success. Let us start first by understanding what financial success is. What is a true measure of it?
We define financial success really as being the absence of financial stress. When you don't have very much money, you're always worrying about where the next bit of money is coming from. And you look at wealthy people and you think, well, if only I was financially successful like them, I would be less stressed about my money. But then, at all the phases of our path to being wealthier, we have different levels of stress. And we find out that even then, very, very wealthy people are, or can be, very worried about their money. So being financially successful isn't about the amount of money that you've got. It's about the control you have over it, the plans that you have for it, the way that you use it on a day-to-day basis.
Besides the obvious, why are so many people failing to attain financial success? What is the main reason for that?
The main reason is people don't take money seriously. They try not to think about it. And if I say to the average person, how often do you think about money? Their answer to me is, we think about it all the time. But they don't actually do a job of planning it. So if I said to that same person, do you know where your money goes? Do you have a budget for your money? It's rare that people do that. It's only the top 5% of people who direct where the money goes, who measure where the money goes. Yeah? So yeah, to be financially successful means that you need to be conscious of it and you need to direct where it's going. And as I said, it's not about how much you earn or how wealthy you are. It's about the decisions that you make with that money, where it goes, how you use it, whether you use it for good or whether you just get rid of it as quickly as possible. And you've heard me say before that people seem to hate money. Yeah? Payday Friday, there are massive queues outside every shopping centre because people want to get rid of their money as quickly as possible. Yeah? And you know, we'll talk through the 8 rules for financial success, but rule number 1 is pay yourself first. Yeah? Now most people, they pay other people first. Yeah? As soon as they get paid, they're rushing out to pay somebody else. So just sitting back and taking measure and taking account of your money, realizing where it goes, and then having plans for the future about directing where it should go, make you more financially successful.
I want us to focus on why these rules, why you believe so much in them, because if you talk to a different financial planner, they'll tell you a different story altogether. If you talk to another one, they'll tell you something else entirely different. So
What must we be learning from this, and why must it matter? What is your story behind these 8 rules?
All of these rules are pretty much common sense. And you won't find another certified financial planner who would disagree with any of them. What I've tried to do is just distill it down into the most important bits of life. There are some things that are in between Rule 6 and Rule 7, for example, yeah, but the simple rules are there. You'll do some other bits and pieces along the way. Yeah, and if you engage with a financial planner, you come to SCI, you have a chat to one of our team, then they will help you with all of this. But if you can't do that, or you won't do that, try picking a rule that you don't currently follow and following it. See what happens. All right. I came to Africa in 2000. I arrived here in Botswana from the UK, Valentine's Day 2000, 23 years ago. And I fell in love with Botswana. I came here for 3 months, and I've stayed for a long time. I came here without much money in my pocket. Yeah, I was not long out of university. Went to university in the UK and came out. And I started working in financial services. And I made some mistakes along the way, but I had to be really careful with my money. And so people look at me now and say, James, you're successful, whatever that might mean. Meaning, generally in their eyes, you have more money than me. Why do you need to follow these rules? Well, it's the rules that I followed that have made me successful. Yeah? Believe it or not, I don't earn very much. I'm not a high income earner, but I'm very careful with what I do with my money, of how I spend it, and I tend not to waste any money. Okay? And I'm an investment advisor, so I invest my money carefully. The main rule, though, that I followed was rule number 2, say no to bad debt. What do I mean by bad debt? So if you've saved up for that, or you've earned the money for that, fantastic. Yeah? But if you're using debt to buy something that goes down in value, you're making your future self doubly poor. Yeah? So all debt is, people say, oh, use the bank's money. It's the biggest lie ever told. The money that you borrow isn't the bank's money. All the bank does is it takes money from future you and lets you have it today. So you borrow from future you, and the bank charges you interest for facilitating that transaction. The old saying is, if you think nobody cares about you, try missing a couple of debt repayments. The banks enforce that transfer from future you to current you. So when you borrow money, you make your future self poorer. And if you're buying something that goes down in value, you're buying some furniture, it goes down in value every year. So it's not an investment. So you're not making your future self any wealthier with the asset, and you're making your future self poorer with the debt. So rule number 2, fundamental rule, is say no to bad debt. Don't borrow money to buy anything that goes down in value. Now, if you go back to rule number 1, pay yourself first. If you've got an emergency fund built up, you've been taking 10 to 20% of your income, and you've been saving that into your emergency fund. And then some emergency comes along. You need to go to a funeral or a wedding, and you need to buy a gift, or you need to make a contribution or whatever. Rather than going and borrowing from a microlender or whoever from a bank, you borrow from yourself. You borrow from your own emergency fund, and you pay yourself back with interest. That's fantastic. Yeah, far, far better than going into debt and paying the interest to somebody else. Okay, so stay out of debt.
This program was brought to you in association with First National Bank of Botswana.